All right, we are live. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy with StreamYard. It's so good. Hey, everybody. Good evening. My name is Grace Simon, and I am the founder of the New Doors Mentorship and Coaching Group. And I am so excited to bring you this lesson from Think and Grow Rich on the chapter of persistence. With it being the first day of school and new schedules, getting back into routine, I thought, it maybe be enough struggle getting everything done this first week to give those that have registered for my 5 week mastermind to give them a little bit of a break, a little ease in, not so much, but a little bit of an ease in, and give room for others getting into the routine to still have an opportunity to join our mastermind for Think and Grow Rich September 19th. So I thought, I've been mentored through the Think and Grow Rich book study for quite a few years now. And my mentor and coach, Paul Martinelli, he always starts with this chapter on persistence. And so I thought, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity. He has us start with the chapter of persistence. And so why not give that to you as well? To start ourselves with the engine humming and running for when we start our 5 week mastermind for Think and Grow Rich, learning the 13 principles, starting and beginning with this chapter on persistence. So if you have not registered for the 5 week mastermind, you're going to want to register tonight because there's still a couple spaces available that you'll be able to get your workbook in time and ready for when we dive into the book together, and we're in a private group, and we're showing up, and you have homework, and we're going to be doing iron versus sharpens iron with this mastermind. So if you go ahead and register, get in there. I can send you your workbook for those that register in the next couple of days. There's only a couple of spots left for getting your textbook. For the rest, there's a downloadable copy of the book that you'll automatically get that you can go line for line. But I really love to have the teaching book right in front of me. I love the paper. When I'm studying something, I like to get into the word. I really love to get into what it is that I'm learning. And my teacher, my coach in this, his book, Think and Grow Rich, it has to be held together with a paper clip. And so I'm going after that with the studying this book on Think and Grow Rich. I'm starting to now, Paul, if you ever see this, my pages are starting to come apart, and I've got lines and circles, and it's bending because I really love this book, so I get into it. And I know that you're gonna, when you participate in a mastermind with me, especially with Think and Grow Rich, you're gonna want to dive into this. So we're talking about persistence. It's a juicy lesson. I love this lesson, and you will hear me say this with every chapter because I really love this book. I'm teaching from one of the 13 principles of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich book. This book has been, let me tell you, this book has been so impactful in my life because this book, it remains on the top sellers list decades after decades, generation after generation, because of the fact that this book is a factual book. Like, it has real factual experiences from over 500 men that were studied over a 25-year period. And Napoleon Hill, he brings together these 13 principles that he learned from all of these men. There's 13 principles that all these men who applied these principles to their life became incredibly wealthy. They became incredibly influential. They became monumental for changing nation states. Like, the stories in this book are absolutely incredible. But what's really incredible too is that these are ordinary people. There's some pretty ordinary people that they start out, they have lots of different backgrounds and ways of how they began their life and what happened in their life, and really not much different from you or I. And it really does generate this hope within yourself that if they could do this, by applying these principles, then why can't I? Why can't you? And so as I'm going into this over and over again, I get really, really excited because I know this to be true for myself because I'm a studier of the book. And mine and my family's lives and our businesses and wealth and opportunities grow every time. Every time I activate a study, I participate or I teach, something more happens in our life because I'm growing in this incredible awareness of what's happening, what needs to shift, the next gear that I'm moving towards in order to fulfill something in my life. So, needless to say, I'm excited. Needless to say, I'm excited, and so should you be, in knowing that you too will be gaining new awareness. You're going to be gaining excitement, anticipation, and things are happening, like opening your life up to experiencing the more in your life. Those of you that are watching that have registered and just kind of like cracking open the door to wonder what this is all about, you're here because you're wondering what it's all about because you desire for more in your life. You have that possibility thinking within yourself. And you know what? It's completely natural because we are created beings. We are created in the image of God. And God is always looking to express and expand, like bringing people into this co-creation of lives. So it's in you. It's really, really naturally in you to discover the do, be, have more in your life. So you're listening to this because you become aware with this understanding. You've become aware with this feeling tone, this intellectual idea that there's more for your life. Napoleon Hill says that as you begin to study this, as you apply these principles, when riches begin to come, they come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders, where have they been hiding during all those lean years? Where have they been hiding? Because it comes at you like from all different directions, and it's absolutely amazing. And you know what? I know where mine were hitting. I know why it was hiding in those lean years. It was hidden in my disbelief. It was hidden in my undervalued thinking, my BS thinking of money and relationship we had with money. And when I say BS, I'm meaning bad belief about it, bad relationship with money. And we are starting from this place. This book, Napoleon takes you through this process, and we're starting with our starting point, which is the best place to be right now. Where you're at right now is the best place to begin. We are exploring this teaching through the filter of where you are, of where your departure point is. So where you are right now with your thinking, and being in congruency, being in alignment, making sure that your departure points are aligned with your dream of that desire to be, do, and have more in your life. That's the filter, and that's the filter of understanding that we need to explore. So we're exploring at our departure point and asking ourselves, what competing commitment do we have? What competing commitments do we have? And filtering those through our departure points and asking, are these in congruency with our dream? What habits do we have that don't serve us? You know you have them, I have them. What departure point habits do we have that need to be overcome? And I want to give you an example of a competing commitment that I had at one time. It was when I talked about rich people. I didn't necessarily like rich people. Nope. Because it's easier to get a camel through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to enter into heaven, right? I didn't think that rich people were very nice people. I didn't think that rich people were honest people. I remember growing up with the idea that the people who got rich, they didn't do nice things. My thinking was that the way people got rich was that they took advantage of other people. They weren't really upfront and honest. And there was, oh, honestly, I remember this, always thinking that if people were rich, then there was always something shady going on. Did you ever have that in your mind when you think about rich people, depending on where your background was and who was around you and what you would hear, where you grew up? And you would hear that, and then you would take on that idea and that belief. And that's what most of my programming said. And yet I wanted to be rich. I wanted to experience. I teach from a place of authenticity. I can't teach in any other way. So how I deliver a message, how I teach a concept or an idea, it's through my own authenticity. And so I follow the way of Christ. That's who I see and filter my life from. And so and you may, friends, you may filter your life and belief through something else, and that's okay. We are here to learn and to grow, and to really expand in our awareness and idea of life and what our life is about. So I have to teach my life through this authenticity of experience that I have. And so I just give it to you, and you can do with whatever you want with it. So I take mine through the life of Christ. And he said that I came that you would have life and that you would have life more abundantly. More abundantly. So really the natural thought and the natural idea of what he was expressing is that desire for the more, that there's no limitations to what it is that you can do and what God and his entire universe want to give to you. But we have these commitments. We have a commitment that my belief that rich people aren't nice, and the only way you get ahead to be rich is to cheat people, lie to people, and the only way you get ahead is taking advantage of people. And somehow they gave into the world more than their faith. So the rich can't get into heaven idea. How conflicting is that? What nonsense is that, right? I had this competing commitment, yet I wanted to get rich. So my belief is competing with my belief of I want to get rich. But yet I want to be nice to people. So you see that conflict there? You see that thing that there's not congruency, there's not an alignment. And we're talking about, we're going to get a little scientific too here, a mix of everything, okay? We're talking here about energy. And we know that when two particles of energy are in harmony with each other, they blend, right? I'm going to give you some examples of this. And, I have water here. You see my water bottle? Yeah, see my water barrel? If I was to mix water with oil, what would happen? They're both liquids, right? But they're not in rapport with each other. They're at different vibrational frequencies. They don't become one with each other. They don't fuse. They don't mix well. So let's jump right in. I got my book here, and I'm going to look at my book at times and look at my script and really just give my best here in this chapter of persistence to really help you to get excited about what we're going to take on together, okay? So right at the very beginning, the first line 1 and 2, it says, persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting desire. Wow. Persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting desire. Oh, I love it. It's like essential oils, right? I love that. Wow. I love this whole book, but this chapter, persistence is the essential factor, the essential oil in the procedure of transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. So what What he's talking about when he's talking about transmuting is he's saying, we're talking about broadcasting out. I'm broadcasting right now on 4 different platforms. I'm making a call. I'm letting people know what it is that I want, right? I'm sending a message, having that vibrational frequency of what our desire is. My desire is for people to know how to sell, thrive, and to live a fulfilled life. That's what I do. And I broadcast that message out that I want to see people break apart, combust all limitations so that they can experience what they were called to do, to be, and to have that fulfilled life, to sell, thrive, and to fulfill the life. So persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting. So when you think about transmuting a message, you're sending a message. You're sending the message of your desire, what it is that you want. That's your dream. It's your dream that hasn't manifested in the physical form yet, right? You have an idea, like, have you ever been to a professional sports game or a concert? Or if you go to a church, like I like to go to church, where people really call out what it is that they want. This is an ask, seek, and find, right? Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be answered. What is it that you want? You go to that concert, you go to the stadium to see your favorite, your favorite sports team, and you got people in the crowd and they're riling everybody up. The excitement comes and the energy takes place and you just feel the energy moving, right? When there's a unity, when there's a unison, there's a presence that takes place, right? Right? You get louder and louder with what it is that you're calling for, louder and louder, right? Until that energy increases in the stadium or the arena or the building, and it gets so electrifying. Like I feel it right now within me. I feel it, that desire and that excitement of what it is, what my dream is. I see it, I feel it, I express it. I'm sending that message out before it manifests into that physical place all the time. There's no doubt what people want when you're in those spaces. So your dream, you want to get that vibrational frequency of thought. And how it starts, because people are like, what the heck are you talking about? So this vibration frequency of thought, this idea starts in the mind of God. Yeah, the mind of God. He drops an idea and you become aware of this idea. It moves from the mind of God. And you become aware of that thought. You become aware of that idea, and it moves in from the mind of God and moves into your conscious awareness. And you form it as a desire. You take it and you go, oh, isn't that interesting? What is that all about? And there becomes an awareness. And Napoleon says, in order for you to take this intellectual seed, this idea, and manifest it and transmute it into physical form, to send that message out so that you can move into its monetary equivalent, that means money or any kind of physical form, what you want, you need to match. You need to create this match, this monetary equivalent. You need to align yourself with this belief, with this idea. It's an idea from God. You accept the idea, it becomes awareness, and then you start to steward that seed. You see this? You see how it works? He's talking about the perpetual transmutation of radiant energy. Here we go. Here we go. It all works together for good. God and his entire universe works for your good, and believing that and shifting your mindset towards that. And energy always starts from that higher source of origination, from God, right? Like if we were to take the idea of light. I have a lamp, my ring light shining on my face here, right? It shines from electricity. We all know this. But the electricity that's flowing to the lamp illuminates the light bulb, right? The source that lamp is coming from it's plugged in. It's plugged in to get the source. But the what I see, what I'm experiencing right now is actually at a lower, it's at a lower expression than its originating source, which is the power plant. And my power plant, like the hydro one, is just a few blocks away from me actually, right? It's just, it comes from the power plant. That electricity comes from the power plant. It starts at the plant and then it goes to different levels of transponders, all the way down till it gets here, to, from the pole to the transformer, to blink, turn on the light, and there we go. We have it. It's science, right? And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. This idea, God is so amazing, immaculate, incredible. It reduced down to a signature thought, an idea within ourselves, and then we have to illuminate it within ourselves and make it work, make it glow, make it shine. That we be a light upon a hill, right? Not to be hidden in darkness, be brought out in perfect light, to broadcast, send a message of expression of what it is that you desire in your life, and not being the secret agent of this growing. Willpower and desire. Hill says, willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair. Do you think of willpower and desire being that irresistible pair? Well, men who accumulate great fortunes are generally known as cold-blooded and sometimes ruthless. And often they're misunderstood. And I'm sure you know, I know people in my life, they're fierce when they're going after something. Oh man, my accountability partner, she's fierce when she's going after something. And I can barely keep up to her because she's that person, right? That business-minded person, that person that when she gets locked in, she's locked in and going after it. What they have is willpower, which when they get to that place of knowing of what it is, it mixes with persistence. And they mix it with the desires, and that gives them the assurance of attainment of their objectives. It's very fascinating, and that's how we get our professional sports athletes, right? That's why we get the massive CEOs and the people doing what they're doing, because they know these formulas. They know how to just naturally go after it, and we have it accumulated in this powerful book to apply these principles to our life. You're not any different. Just follow the teaching, follow the book, apply it, and go after it. So the dream or idea that you have, do you think that you just made it up? To be, do, and have? Is it in you for a reason, or did you just make it up all by yourself? Well, I know that I'm not good to come up with the ideas that I come up with. I'm definitely not. And so when that idea that is a God-given idea, it can't be destroyed. It can't be. That means that the idea that you had for your dream has just been waiting. It's been waiting on you as you move through this journey of life. I'm 49 years old. Don't tell anybody, okay? I'm 49 years old. And my dreams, the ideas given to me that have been waiting on me for 49 years, that's governed by what the world calls the law of gender. I call it God's law of design and fulfillment for my life. That's what, right? It's just whatever you want to call it. Just align it with who you are and what you believe and go after, right? It's your journey of belief to water and feed this. So whatever or however it is that you want to say, it's happening. And that energy and that drive and the power by which is driven through persistence, stoking your desire for what it is that you're going after. You need to stoke it through this thing of persistence. So the idea for me to have whatever it is that I want, that my new goal is through Think and Grow Rich, or for whatever it is for you, you need to become aware of it. It's always been there. It's inside of you. Seek, ask, seek, and find. Ask, seek, and find. So if you're not quite there, just ask for it. Look for the things that make you excited, right? That get you energized. The things that get you popped up, in the middle of the night where you're thinking you're stewarding. Like, start to ask for what that is. From the infinite mind of God to the finite mind of man, that transmutation of energy, that purpose that was known way before you even came into existence. And now you grab a hold of it. Now it's interesting because you became aware of it. Wow. You became aware of it when you took on the interest of growing, when you became into this understanding of learning and becoming aware of possibilities, this possibility thinking, that life and life abundance. And all of a sudden you allowed space for this to happen in your life. The more you allow space of growth and opportunity and welcoming people's mentorship, like we're going to do starting on September 19th, we're getting in iron sharpens iron with people that have a desire to be, do, and have more. In this space where we'll be hearing each other and engaging each other and going through the word. And I get to challenge you. And I'm one of those coaches, I'm afraid, for those of you that have coached through me, by me, that will know that I call things out because I'm not going to let you get stuck. I'm not going to let you believe in your stinking thinking so that you live a limited life. You may not like what I have to say at times, but I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for your dream. And so in this space, in this group, we will call things out as they should by what it is that you want or you say that you want. And so all of a sudden, more and more, it gets stronger and stronger. And he's saying now that you got this intellect from a spiritual seed to an intellectual seed, and spiritual seed to an intellectual seed. And now, using persistence, that is essential, like an essential oil, you just rub it on your neck, rub it on your heart, rub it on your mind, right? Applying it every single day of what it is that you want. That essential oil factor of persistence, going after it every day, despite how things look in the day, but sticking to that place of desire, of sowing and watering that seed and that idea that's in your mind, broadcasting, transmuting that energy into the whole universe, knowing that God and his universe is working for the good. God wants you to fulfill that point, that purpose in your life, and you just got to go after it. The spirit always manifests itself in the polar opposite. The polar opposite of spiritual is physical. God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? You with me? You got this? We live in a physical body. We have a beautiful intellectual mind, and we're spiritual beings. So we're using these forms, these frames of where we live in on earth, in our bodies, using our intellectual mind, using that spiritual source that we have within us to manifest what it is that we have in our heart to do. I love it. It's so good. It's so juicy. I want to get into all the principles tonight, but I'm not going to. We're going to start with desire. Then we're going to go into faith, and then we're going to go to auto-suggestion. We're going to hit on 5 major principles. And I was thinking tonight, I was like, you know what? My friend Paul, he really loves to teach on the sex transmutation. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about sex when it comes to Think and Grow Rich in this study. So now that I get your attention that we may be talking about sex and how we can transmute that into a greater desire, you're going to want to sign up, aren't you? It's going to be fun, especially me getting Paul in to teach on this lesson, because he really does love to teach on that. So these vibrations, this charge, this frequency of persistence, it's necessary, just like all the other principles. And if our arrival point vibration is made up of and consists of persistence, is a part of that energy field that needs to happen. We want to make sure that the decision that we're going to make now to develop persistence is a frequency that we stay in. It's a necessary element. We have to stay in it. You got to stay into that place of persistence. Okay? So I got a competition here. I got people outside my door and talking, and I want to stay in this place of drive and persistence. I want to continue to send that frequency, right, of persistence. And no matter what competing beliefs, no matter what competing activations are happening around me, that I am focused and I continue to be sending out that message of desire, turning that into a fiery plan, a fiery desire, and staying there, staying in that place of what it is that you really want. You know, right here in line 20 in my book, in your book it'll be something, but it says, if you're following this book with the intention of applying the knowledge it conveys, your first test as to your persistence will come when you begin to follow the 6 steps described in the 2nd chapter. So we're going to go over the 6 steps of the 2nd chapter. I have another lesson that we're going to be going through before we head into the chapter of desire, but I have some persistence build up that I want you to do. Here's your challenge. I'm going to ask you to do something. For those that are registering, you're registering tonight. Come on. Don't miss out on this time that is going to be, I promise you, it's monumental. I remember the first time I took this course with Paul, and I didn't get as much out of it as I do now, but I had to start from somewhere. I had to start from where I was. 5 years later, my pages are falling apart, money's coming in, opportunities in. Now I'm like speaking globally. I'm coaching globally. I'm starting new businesses globally. I'm nationally and sitting on boards, and different things are taking place because of this fact of entertaining this awareness and applying principles to my life, and my life expanding to something that I never could see before. And it's through this area of persistence. It comes when you come to the 6 steps, right? And so we're talking right now about your departure part. Where are you now? You have a dream. You have a dream, and right now it's a spiritual seed. And it's moved into form, into an intellectual seed, right? So now you're into this process with this program. By the very nature that you're watching this tonight, you're now beginning, as the sound of my voice, as you're hearing this lesson and you're getting excited and you're like digging into, what is it that I want? When we talk about definite purpose, the first step to the 6 steps of what it is that you want, you need to know what it is that I want. But don't get caught up if you don't. It's going to come. Let's just start from where you are, okay? You with me? You with me? To turn this idea, this seed, into the physical seed of attracting and money just coming at you, and opportunities and everything from every direction. You wonder, where were you hiding all my life? You want this. You want this for your life, because this is life abundance. This is selling. This is thriving, to have a fulfilled life. So he's saying one way to match that is to have persistence, because persistence is part of the element of the seed. It took me 49 years to get it, right? That's pretty persistent for this seed that I'm walking through. This seed has been persistent in its expression of itself. Persistence is a necessary element for me to stay at. I'm in this deep in my dream, what I'm working for and what I'm working towards. I have this open vision of what it is that I'm to do in my life. And when I first saw it in details, and it just was like, how do I do this? Like, I really had no idea from where I was. And I would share it. John Maxwell says, when you have a dream and you have an idea and you really believe like it's something that you're fulfilling in your life, you need to invite other people in, share it with the right people. And so I have been, but really starting from a place of, I don't know how. We never know how, because we've never done it before, and the idea didn't come from ourselves. So we have to go on this journey. We have to start somewhere in order for it to begin. And so I'm inviting you right now to start testing yourself and how you are with persistence. And in the book, in this chapter, it says the author is checking up at you at this point, because of lack of persistence is one of the major causes of failure. And what I want for all of us as we begin the 2nd chapter on September 19th is to be warmed up. I'm asking you to read the chapter every day for 14 days. Every day for 14 days, read this chapter on desire. And if you miss a day, from reading this, then you start back at day 1. If you're able to do this right from the get-go and read this chapter, this is not an easy chapter, and it's not meant to be an easy chapter. It's a long chapter. So you need to plan it out and schedule it into your day in order to make this happen. But if you're going to apply yourself, give yourself to this teaching, give yourself to this time of life of this is it, I'm throwing myself, it's all or nothing in here, then give yourself this persistent test of reading this chapter every single day for 14 days, testing your persistence, because this is where people fail. Be definite as to the amount of what it is that you want. Be specific. And why does it matter? Because it matters to you, and it's going to matter to those around you. So when you achieve this, when this happens in your life, what will it bring to you and others in your life? Like, what will it mean when you achieve this? When this desire is fulfilled, what will it mean? You know, my dream is so big, and I'm being challenged with so many things. So right now, Think and Grow Rich for me means it's not necessarily money. It's like it's the fulfillment. Sell, thrive, fulfilled, live a fulfilled life. And I'm working with, people that have come out of human trafficking. I'm working with people coming into the country, needing a place to grow and to understand. I'm working with people from Indigenous communities. I'm working from different sectors of life, and I have to be willing to apply these principles. I have to be willing to ask myself, what am I willing to give up in order to attain it? And so when I'm dealing with people that I'm asking to give up addictions, habits, strongholds, beliefs, you better believe it that I need to be able to do it for myself. I only teach from a place of authenticity. So for those that have had breakthroughs and their lives are being transformed through my coaching, my one-on-one Designing Your Empowered Life coaching, because 5 weeks is not going to bring transformation, but it's going to unlock. Those that have been through it, they know that we unlock a lot, uncovering beliefs and habits and ideas that they're attached to that's not serving who it is, what it is, and all that it is that they have. So just stay with me on this, right? Some of you weren't there, and that's okay. That's okay. Stay with me anyways. Come up with a goal, come with an idea, and stick with me, just over the next couple weeks. And see what gets tugged at you, what gets pulled at you, and see, can I get attached to this? Can I go into this place of growth and learning and understanding? Here's what I know in my lesson on goal setting and goal achieving through one of my mentoring programs. There's the purpose, vision, goals, and then there's designing your empowered life, mindset mastery, and sales mastery that I get into. And we get into goal setting in all of them. And goal setting is an intellectual process, right? It's a skill that's to be learned, but goal achievement occurs through that process where we're in harmony with the laws that govern the way we think, behave, and create through our values and our beliefs. And that's how I teach goal setting, goal achieving. Goal setting and goal achieving are very different things. So many of you are going to be, opened up to some new concepts and ideas. And I say, let's go. Let's do this. So starting right now, Les Brown will say, he says, most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. It's because they aim too low and hit. And I know that for myself, right? And I see it for people all the time. And I know that most people fail in goal setting because they claim they want more and setting for less than they have. They're settling for less, right? I know that I did because I was afraid that I wouldn't achieve it. And you know what? Then I wouldn't. So we're going to go through this process. I'm super excited. I'm so thankful that you took the time to spend this time with me. Jump into this chapter on persistence. You can, once you register, you can download the chapter. It's a line for line. You can print it off, or you probably have the book on the shelf because this is a timeless piece. Get out the chapter, start reading it every day. If you miss a day, you start back to day one, and you got to continue on for 14 days, and we'll be well into the mastermind at that point. But this is you. This is your dream. This is your fulfillment. I believe in you, and I believe in your dream, and I believe in your purpose. Your purpose. Have an amazing night. Good night, everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.